President Trump announces plans to visit the U.S.-Mexico border, all as Biden's immigration disaster explodes. In this video, we're going to take a look at Trump's intentions on visiting the Biden-caused crisis at the southern border. We're going to take a look at the devastating political fallout it's already causing Biden, and how such a fallout is but the precursor for a massive voter revolt that appears to be amassing as we speak. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be with you. As always, we're here to give you each and every single day conservative hope in the midst of these trying and turbulent times, helping you to think better so you can feel better and provide for you a patriot path to freedom. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also for you podcast fans, you know we've now reached, because of you, over 2 million podcast downloads. So make sure to click on that link below and sign up for our various podcast platforms if you haven't already done so. We've also got links to our Rumble and Parler channels down below. We'd love for you to subscribe to them as well. Before we dive into things here, did you know that a new study shows that omega-3s have a direct impact on reversing the effects of aging? Well, that's why I highly recommend Omega Krill from our good friends over at BioTrust. Not only is it going to give you the right type of omega-3s that promote anti-aging, but get this, if you click on that link below today, you're going to get Omega Krill at 51% off plus free shipping. So do not wait. Click on that link below or visit my special website, Omega with Steve, and help reverse the effects of aging today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. It's being widely reported that President Trump is indeed planning on making a historic visit to the U.S.-Mexico border to survey for himself the colossal damage caused by the Biden administration in what is nothing less than a horrific humanitarian crisis. In an exclusive interview with Judge Jeanine Pirro over the weekend, Trump said that he does plan on visiting the border sometime in the next couple of weeks. Trump ripped into Biden's decision to undo what's called the Migrant Protection Protocol. This is something that the Trump administration had set up. It effectively set up agreements with Mexico and Guatemala to end illegal immigration. We have to remember that President Trump didn't just build a physical wall at the southern border. This is essential. He also created an administrative wall as well through alliances with Mexico and Guatemala. Both Guatemala and Mexico instituted a number of measures to prevent migrant caravans of passing through their respective nations. Guatemala, particularly, their president there, Alejandro Giammattei, by the way, who's a right-winger, you know, he's a populist, conservative. They suspended constitutional protections in some regions of Guatemala just to decisively stop migrant caravans from entering Guatemala in the first place. So as much as the physical wall at the southern border was important, it was actually administratively extended, shall we say, into Mexico and Guatemala as well. Biden got rid of both walls, the physical wall as well as the administrative wall, right? He promised not to build another inch of the physical wall. And he stated that he would reinstitute the Obama-era catch and release program. It would no longer require Mexico and Guatemala to stop the caravan. So boom, there's your border crisis. And so President Trump is saying that he'll do what thus far Biden has refused to do, which is visit the southern border. Republicans have been pressuring Biden big time to visit the border to see just for himself how horrific the humanitarian crisis actually is. Indiana Senator Mike Braun recently penned an official letter to Biden after visiting the border saying, quote, "The current surge of illegal immigrants at the southern border is the worst the country has seen in 20 years. The crisis surrounding the surge makes it a moral imperative for you to see firsthand what is happening and not the sanitized version of the border tour taken by some of my congressional colleagues. Having personally gone this week, I can testify to this being an inhumane, unsustainable, and dangerous situation. You must take swift action before the entire system collapses under its own weight." And so it's no wonder that even some in Biden's own party are beginning to rebel against him on this. Texas Democrat Representative Henry Cuellar recently released several batches of photos from a migrant holding facility on the southern border. The photos depict children packed into crowded rooms, covered in foil blankets, awaiting processing. I mean, it's pretty horrific stuff. And though this Democratic representative still is a supporter of Biden, he did tell the Washington Examiner that he felt morally compelled to tell the truth, to let people know just how bad things are at the southern border as we speak. Unfortunately, Biden doesn't seem to be quite getting it, which, of course, that's what we would expect. Not only has he dismissed news of Trump's pending visit to the border, he said he doesn't care, but he's appointed Kamala Harris to oversee the border situation, which is a pathetic move, to say the least. I love how Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana put it. He said that putting Kamala Harris in charge of the border crisis is like making Lance Armstrong drug czar. I mean, this is a disaster in every measurable way, but most particularly politically for Biden and the Democrats. It's absolutely killing him in the polls. We talked about this last week. According to Rasmussen, Biden's approval rating slipped last Monday to under 50%. It was what Rasmussen called a sharp decline, with Biden falling to 49% approval, so he's underwater officially. Then on Tuesday, his rating slipped even more to 48%. He remained stable on Wednesday, but then as of Thursday, his approval fell once again to 47%, with 51% disapproving his job performance, and he's been in office barely 60 days. This is the honeymoon period. So we're seeing a falling average here during the honeymoon periods. It'll be interesting to see what kind of decline continues when the honeymoon is over. But there's a much larger political fallout going on here than mere poll numbers. It's a fallout that promises to spell absolute disaster for the Democrats. Now, before we get into that, I do want to give you a free gift. Make sure to click on the link below and download your own alt-tech directory guide, which we're calling the New Conservative Survival Guide to Big Tech Censorship. It is absolutely free for you as an ebook download. It's a guide that's going to give you all of the alternative social media sites that are popping up all over the place that you can go to that have all your favorite independent content creators, but of course without any of the censorship that we've been exposed to by big tech. And it's also going to give, this is my favorite part, it's going to give you insights in what scholars are calling an emerging post-Google age. It's absolutely free as an ebook download, and it's yours by simply clicking on the link below. So do not let big tech censors get in the way of your favorite content creators. Click on that link below and enjoy your survival guide to big tech censorship today. All right, gang. So what we're seeing here, with Trump going to the border and Biden's poll numbers dropping, is really in many respects a replay of 2016. What we have to remember here is that what Biden is ultimately doing is he's simply reconstituting Obama-era conditions that led to the rise of Trump in the very first place. He's simply reconstituting Obama-era conditions that led to the rise of Trump in the first place. We've got to remember that President Trump was preceded by two massive political revolts in the midterms. In 2010, led by the Tea Party movement and the Republican takeover of the House, and then in 2014, which was even more devastating for the Democrats, with the GOP takeover of the Senate. And when we combine these two political revolts with 2016, which was the revolt of all revolts, right, the Trump victory, what we saw were the political ramifications of this massive rift that's been opening up between the people and the political class, your ordinary Americans and your oligarchs, right? The ruled versus the rulers. And this rift, this increasing alienation between the people and the political class, is being exacerbated by three interrelated and interacting dynamics: border security, economic security, and cultural security. These are the three securities that the nation state historically provided to populations, right? The nation state historically provided a sense of national security where our borders are secured and we felt safe from invasion. The nation state provided economic security where we had at least some semblance of stable material conditions and jobs. And the nation state provided what's often referred to as cultural security. It's also called existential security, where we're free to celebrate and revere those customs, cultures, and traditions that give our lives a sense of meaning and our nation and communities a basis for solidarity and unity. It's the nation that provides secure borders, a stable economy, and the space for the celebration, perpetuation of a population's customs, traditions, and religion that give our lives meaning and give us solidarity. What we have to understand is that both Obama and Biden have undermined all three of these securities as a result of their embracing of left-wing globalization, which is a vast interlocking mechanism of technology and telecommunications that in effect forms a single worldwide political and economic system. So Globalization erodes border security with its denial of borders and its mass immigration, both legal and illegal. Globalization has eroded economic security with something called a global division of labor, where manufacturing and factory jobs are shipped out to third world nations while capital and finance are relocated to urban centers, leaving rural populations highly unemployed. And globalization has eroded cultural security by redefining our cultures, customs, and traditions as bigoted and racist and sexist and all kinds of phobic. And so what we have to understand is that these globalized processes are provoking massive backlashes at the ballot box, like we saw in 2010, 2012, 2016, and in 2020, where the Trump's defense of the nation state had more people voting for Trump than any previous incumbent president ever. So all Biden is doing in the end is further provoking this backlash. Again, where even Democrats are coming out against him on this one. All he's doing is provoking a mass backlash where voters are more and more reasserting their national sovereignty and their customs, culture, and religions as mechanisms of resistance against the anti-cultural processes of globalization and its secular aristocracy. That's why we spend so much time on this channel focusing on those three major dynamics of nationalism, populism, traditionalism, and the politics of the future, the politics of the 21st century. Nationalism reasserts border sovereignty. Populism reasserts the importance of localized jobs and manufacturing being brought back home. And traditionalism reasserts the celebration of our culture, customs, and traditions as that which gives our lives meaning and binds us together as a single people. So make no mistake, this current crisis at the border is certainly horrific. It is terrible for all parties involved, but it promises to be even more horrific for the future of the Democrat Party, as it will only serve to exacerbate the populist backlash in ways that might make the previous red waves look like little more than trickles by comparison. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click on a link and check out some of our awesome merch. And you definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on how the state of Georgia's passed sweeping election integrity forum, all as a plurality of California Latinos are coming out in support of Gavin Newsom's recall. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.